recording. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media, including TikTok. I got 3 TikToks up, so I'm supposed to get verified next week. I don't know. That's what they told me. I'm not. But if they do, hey, I could use some extra revenue. Not gonna complain. But you know, everybody, as always, you know how we do. We have a great week planned. Oh, great episode for this great week planned. As always, I was like, can I make a great week? You know, we can. We make great weeks here now.
Yeah.
But we have a first comer to the Full Circle family. We have Asa GreenRiver, my brother. Been trying to get this man on for a long time, and he didn't even know it.
Oh my gosh.
How you doing today, sir?
Dude, after that, I'm doing great. This is like the cherry on top to the day. I'm so pumped. I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for having me.
That's what's up, man. And just in case, Asa, in case they don't know who you are and what do you do, who are you and what do you do?
Okay. So it is a long elevator pitch as to who I am. So I guess if you boil it down, I am a content creator from Columbus, Ohio. I do streaming, podcasts, other like YouTube videos. It's been a while since stuff has been up because I've also been super busy because I also am a PR and marketing professional. So I work with Take This, Feminist Frequency, and the Games and Harassment Hotline. So all of that, plus of course family time, my regular 9 to 5. It's a busy time in life right now, but in a very condensed nutshell, that's who I am.
Bruh, that's what I like to hear. See, people do not respect the grind of content creators who actually still have a 9 to 5. They don't understand what it takes. You work a full-time job and you come and work more on something that isn't your main source of revenue, at least not yet. I respect that grind. I know what it's like. So salute to you, sir.
It is a grind for sure.
It is.
Tougher than Avengers.
Oh, most definitely. Like when I see we live in a different world than we were coming up, but when I see like the 17-year-old that's like, I grinded for this. This is how you hard work. I'm like, bruh, 3 years ago you weren't even legally allowed to work. You ain't there yet. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I may be a little salty because you making millions, but
yeah,
you know, that's just how. I mean, they got a 10-year-old making millions in today's world, so that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I can't even think about that.
But I digress. So, people, this week has been busy. We're going to be talking about a lot. Surprisingly, nothing Nintendo this week. I was going to talk about the death of Mario, but that's not real. He didn't really die.
Yeah,
he's still there, people. I don't. It's fun, good times. But we're going to be talking about gaming backlogs. If you didn't hear, PlayStation announced they're pulling the plug. PS3, Vita, hell, they're just pulling the plug, bro. They just said screw it. If you ain't played it by now, you ain't got no ambitions to play it. But we're going to be talking about that and backlogs in general. How important is it? Should game companies make it accessible to have every game ever made on their console? The answer is yes, but we'll get to that. Before that, bro, Xbox has been heavy. I remember a time where I never had nothing good to say about Xbox, but man, they are laughing at me now. If you didn't hear the news, MLB The Show, which, whoa, he's pulling out the cap for our audio listeners. Asa has pulled out the Xbox Live cap. Yes, they have been killing the game. And I don't care what no one says. People don't like the word console wars, but I'm sorry, it's here. It's here. I don't care what your opinion is on it. It is here. But before all that, we got some GameStop news, people. GameStop, yes, you remember GameStop going out of business, not going out of business, hired Reggie, the Reddit boom, you know, gave the middle finger to the stock market, all that good stuff. Well, that's finally come full circle, and GameStop is now using all those extra stocks. They're selling it off to make huge profits, to basically reinvent the store and move up that timeline of whatever it's going to be after they're not selling games. And Asa, what are your opinions on this? What is GameStop about to do?
Honestly, at this point, I don't understand what GameStop is thinking. Like, I know that GameStop is more than just the store. I know that they've got they've got Game Informer, they've got Think Geek, so they have like a few like subdivisions that I feel like do better than the stores do. So why not just put all of your capital into those? And when it comes to like the idea of like the store redesigns, I feel like they'd already done a couple of those where they made it very like a lounge space. Like you're starting to see more of these like little mini esports centers, like LAN party centers. So they've got couches and chairs and like wall to wall like PCs and stuff. So like I understand them trying to compete in that sense and maybe trying to change the brand, but at this point it's like, why? Like just I realize that you got people that have jobs, and I don't want to sound insensitive, but at some point you just gotta let it go. Like the fact that Reggie parted ways and they thought that Reggie coming on was going to be the sign of something good, even he realized that it's beyond saving. It is beyond saving. So, I mean, I would say this is probably a good time to go to GameStop, get your buy one, get 5 free used games, because they're going to be cleaning house. It's going to be like a going out of sale, Big Lot sale.
So, it's funny. So you're right. I think I agree with you, because they're selling 3.5 million shares. I don't know how much money that is, but assuming they're all at least $1. So, a couple of $1 million. 3.5
at least
million.
$1. Did you get in on the whole like buying shares and and trading stuff?
I don't play with the stock market. When I took economics in college and I learned the concept of imaginary money, I was like, I'm out. I'm just not smart enough for this. I watched Wolf of Wall Street and I was like, I'm not smart enough for this, man. People do it. They get rich. That's just not me. I'm that guy that's gonna be like, because you have to spend a lot of money to make a lot of money, and I'm just like,
I thought that too, but even though Robinhood was kind of shady during like that whole time of the Reddit stocks and stuff, my partner and I, we bought a bunch of stocks. Like we bought some in Dogecoin, like you talk about like made up money. And I think we put in $20 and like stocks just kept rising and rising and rising. And I think now with obviously, like Robinhood and maybe a few other apps out there, like, I think the barrier to entry is a little bit smaller, but you can get into it.
All right.
Don't be afraid of it. Dip your toe in. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hey, you know what? When you make, your 10 billion, throw a couple of stacks my way.
You got it.
That's why I'll give you $10, and then I'm gonna need you to come back and be like, here's 20,000, and we'll cut. That'll be it.
I'll turn it back for you. I'll be your broker.
Exactly. So they're selling these shares, and they're gonna make a couple of millions back. I don't know the exact numbers. Yeah. And you make a good point. Could they just invest that all into Game Informer, which as like Lord forbid anything happens there, I don't think there's going anywhere. They're a great publication, one of the giants, so to speak.
Yeah.
They have thinking and stuff. And like you said, I don't know what the story is. So I have recently It Takes Two came out, and before that Yakuza Like a Dragon came out. And I went to GameStop, and both times, this is the first time it ever actually happened, they said, if you did not have a pre-order, we do not have a game for you, as in we only had the pre-order shipped to the store. And I was blown away, because they tell me that, they've told me that for years. Did you pre-order the game? I'm like, no, I didn't pre-order the game. Just give me the game. But these are the first 2 times where I'm like, oh, are they getting serious about this? Or are they only ordering stock that has already been sold? Which would make sense considering their money issues.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but like you said, I don't know what GameStop is now, because I wouldn't go to GameStop to buy Funko Pops or gaming accessories, especially if I can just get them at Walmart or Best Buy, where Best Buy is becoming my main place to buy games now, because GameStop has just upset me.
Yeah.
But okay, let's ignore the avenues. They have all this money. To you, what could they do with all this money to make it viable again for the consumer? Yeah.
So assuming, because I thought that they filed for bankruptcy. Like I thought that happened within like the past year to 5 years or something like that. So assuming that all of that stuff is taken care of, and there's no other caveats, and they're just sitting on like, let's just say 4 million. Was it 3.5 million?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's just round it up. Let's just do 4 million. They're sitting on $4 million. I think we're looking at a lot of store closings, because like you said, they're only pulling in stock that is guaranteed, like pre-ordered. So I don't think that they can keep as many stores open. I think you're probably going to see bigger lounges I know like here in Columbus, Ohio, we have Game Arena. Like we have a few places like that. Like I said, where it's like esports-esque. It's a place for people to come and play games, like bring a party together. I would say you're probably only going to see those maybe in like some major cities. Like that's what I would think you would do. Open these only in a few major cities and become a competitor that way. So then you actually become viable again, because esports is never going anywhere. So if you only have so much stock, you could use some of that stock so people don't have to play games. They could essentially buy some sort of membership to kind of like a gym or something like that, to where they can then come and play their games at GameStop. It is the place you stop to play games. And and that would honestly probably be the best move for them.
You know, that's not bad. A gaming membership to where I can't afford a $600 console, but I can afford a $20 a month membership where I can come, rent my PS5 or whatever, play the game, have my save. With cloud saving, that would be incredible. Like, you have your PSN account, you go log in, boom, your game, whatever, and then, you're there until, they close or what have you. That's crazy enough to work.
I mean, it's an idea that I've had for my own self for like, I think the first time that I had thought about that idea was probably like maybe 2010, 2011. Obviously something I sat on, nothing to like make it happen. But now you're starting to see those start to pop up. So I think if like the small mom and pop shops are able to pull it off easily, I think that a corporation that has a lot of backing behind it could do it.
And so this is kind of a spin-off of every, people saying, like you said, the esport lounges, the centers. I've thought this, I've never vocally said it. So if they take my idea, I need to like date this episode or something. But so it's not a secret that I love Pokemon, and I've always wanted to do VGC competitively and stuff. But like, to get in, it's always like, oh, I got to go to Indianapolis a random 2 weekdays and a random month. Or the closest thing I've ever gotten was they had a competition in Dallas, and it was like Tuesday, Wednesday. It was literally like the middle of the week. No chance in hell of getting off, like just horrible hours. I'm like, but if you turn like every other GameStop into like a tournament center where, I can get points for Street Fighter, I can get points for Pokemon, whatever. And it's like, and of course, just regularly, it's like, hey, all you gotta do is go to a GameStop, compete here. And obviously, like bigger or more prominent GameStops in cities, you win more points if you're out in the boonies. But like, hey, if you're out in the boonies and you win every time in the boonies, you can at least stock up some points to go something. And I'm like, cool. So that way, it's not like these 5 cities in America, and if you don't live within an hour and have the availability to be free all day on a Tuesday, it's like, oh yeah, I could definitely like at least take off one day, or like run the GameStop during lunch, take a half a day, and get my matches in, or what have you, and rake up points that way. But yeah, I mean, long story short, it needs to be something beneficial to the gaming community.
Right. And I mean, I think about it. Like if they were to partner with Epic and have there be some sort of tournament series, like Fortnite always has in-game tournaments. What if it was like a tournament series to where there's actually not the world championships, like the big one, but maybe just like a national one, like just a US based championship, to where you go to these GameStops, like you said, you rack up your points, so then you can hit qualifiers, and there's actually like really big tournaments, and it's like there are actual sponsors, and there's going to be like an arena. Like it can be a full-fledged idea with full partnerships and like just set up.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with the tagline, GameStop, the place you stop and play games. I'm like, that's money. There we go. We're done with that.
Show me my money.
Exactly. No, because I remember a time back when I was younger, and this is a story from my past. So I was at my grandma's for the summer, winter break, whenever it was. I don't know. But what I do know is that Yoshi's Island was coming out for the Game Boy Advance, and whatever, it had the Game Boy Advance name. It was called like, Yoshi Island Mario Advance 2, or, but it was Yoshi's Island. That's what it was. And she didn't have a GameStop, but they had Walmarts and stuff. And I remember the day it came out, I was like, Grandma, before you go to work, we gotta go to Walmart. Like, that's like still to this day one of my favorite games ever made. I don't have the Super Nintendo cartridge no more, lost to the sands of time, so I was amped to play this game again. Went to the Walmart, went to the Sears. They were like, when it was release day, and I knew it was a small chance. None of them had the game. I was with my grandma for a whole month. You know, a kid that's like 2 years, so went
Yeah.
basically every day. Never had the game. And basically, we had to drive to Nacogdoches. She lives in a small Texas city, so that was like the biggest city closest. And we had to go to GameStop, and they had it. But I remember back then, like to get a game, like not even on release day, but within like the release week or two, you had to go to GameStop. Like, depending on what Walmart you went to, they may have it.
Yeah.
Target may have it. They'll have it eventually, but they're not gonna have it when it releases.
Yeah. Right.
But that's no longer true.
Right. But even think about like with the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S launch, you couldn't get those for months. And I think still even now it's difficult to get those. So if GameStop was the place where you stop to play games, they've got a PS5. You either have a free to play day where you just do like a daily rate, or you have a membership where you can come and play that PS5 as much as you want. Like you said, with those cloud saves, people could save. I guess in hindsight, it would probably be a longer spend for the consumer because they just would be paying over time. But the initial upfront cost would be a lot more manageable than a $500-$600 price tag.
Yeah, and imagine if they had some layaway system to where like you're even playing on your PS5. Like this is the PS5 you are paying off. You're paying like your monthly fee to see your baby, have her games. And then imagine that mythical day you come in and it's like you're done and it's like here you go. And that's your PS like that
feeling. It's like a rent-a-car place. You're driving for a while and you finally that lease is up and it's yours. You drive off the lot, you never have to go back.
Oh man, I honestly think we're just giving them money.
I know. Just like listen to this podcast first of all because you should. Second of all, you're going to get good ideas on how to make your business better. Boom.
Yes. So speaking of good ideas, how to make your business better, Xbox. I don't know who you hired. I don't know who went to Bill Gates and was like, "Give us $10 million and we about to turn this around." And he was like, "What's plan one? Buy Bethesda." He's like, "What you doing with the other $4 billion? Don't worry, we got this." We got this. So I swear that conversation had to happen because everyone knows. Like, if I had to be a hater, I would be an Xbox hater. I'm not, but if someone was to call me that, I'd be like, I get it. But damn, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
They're on another level right now, and I've said this time and time again on anywhere people will let me talk about it. Xbox, I know we said that the console wars are alive and well, and they are, but in another way that they're not. Because I feel like Xbox, because it is a console and they're a game, well, I guess they are game devs now, man, they're just literally doing everything. But they're in the console war, but not because they want to be. Like, their sights are on something else. Like, before I thought that it was just Stadia and Luna, like that those were their big competitors, but they've pretty much already killed them. And so like I know Luna's like still around, but is anybody honestly playing it? Does anybody care?
Here's my thing. Okay, Stadia's dead in the water.
Yeah.
But I feel like Luna was failure to launch because to this day, people still have no idea what Luna is. You say Luna and they go, what? Oh, the Amazon. Oh, yeah. That's where the conversation goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody knows what it is. But like Xbox and just Microsoft as a whole, I feel like they're trying to do what they said. I believe it was E3 2013. It was like when they unveiled the Xbox One. And it was the one where everybody was giving them crap because there was all the DRM stuff and they're talking about your Xbox is always on and the licensing and stuff like that. But they talked about the Xbox being like the one-stop shop. They wanted the Xbox to be the thing that you need. You're going to watch your shows through it. You're going to listen to your music or whatever. You're going to play your games. You're going to hang out with people. And I think while obviously the way that they go about it and their deliverables have been different, I think that mission is still the same because they're putting Xbox on PC. Like they're pretty soon. I mean, if you think about it, like they've got Xbox on Switch, they've got Xbox on PS5 because now that they own Bethesda, like they're pumping these games out everywhere. So I think eventually it's going to get to the point where Xbox is just kind of like ubiquitous with gaming. And I don't think that I don't think that there's any stopping them. Like, honestly, that's why I think like console wars aren't really a thing for them, because they're on some ethereal plane, man, where there's no touching them. There's no touching them.
And I agree with that 90%, because I remember, I know that you three were talking about, they were like, oh, it's the one-stop shop for, they want, it was something like they want to be the only media box in your living room. Like, because remember, you could plug your cable in through it and stuff. Yep. And I remember thinking, that's so dumb. Not in a grand scheme sense, but like, if you go back and watch it, they do a lot of talking and very little of it has to do with games.
Right.
It was kind of like, it was like, imagine this is the car of the future. It'll change your baby. It'll make your breakfast. It'll do your taxes. And it was like, but how is it at being a car?
Yeah.
And that's always been my problem with Xbox, was like, I do enjoy watching Blu-rays. I do, I wanted to have other functions, download my anime apps, whatever. But I need you to have games and play games well. That's why I'm here.
Right.
Like, their marketing was always anti that in my mind. I mean, it was like, in my mind, it was like, it's the thing I will play Call of Duty on, most likely a Halo, Gears if I'm in the mood, and I will go elsewhere for everything else.
Right.
And it sounds crazy, but it's like somebody finally, some exec, someone who has power goes, guys, what if we just did all our resources, time, and attention on games? As crazy as that sounds, I feel like they had a very serious conversation. And someone's like, you know what? Let's pour all our time and energy into games. If it ain't got to do with games, we ain't talking about it.
Right.
And they've done it. And I mean, okay, yes, I know Microsoft has endless money, but they've done so much in such a little time frame if you think about it. Game Pass was announced, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, no more than 3. No more than 3.
It might have been like, 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah. Point is, it's still fairly fresh.
Yeah.
And to see how much it has done in such little time, along with Bethesda, and now the topic, MLB The Show, which to me, that's okay. I remember when Sony was like, Street Fighter 5 is Sony PlayStation console exclusive. I was like, oh, that's big. No, this is big.
This is big. This is on another level big.
Yeah, I'm curious. How do you think they did it? Was it literally just a case of, here's money, boom, how much? Tell me when to stop. Tell me when.
Yeah. Well, so I think when it was announced, like at the beginning of the whole MLB The Show thing, when we found out that it wasn't going to be just on Sony devices, I thought that was just because of the deal running out with the MLB organization. So like we already knew it was going to be coming to other platforms. I think to get it on Game Pass, man, because it's tough, because I don't want to dive too much into like my theories on Sony and like what they're doing right now, because I want to dive into that on like the next topic. But I feel like Sony knows like what's going on, so they're gearing up for something different. Like I feel like they're trying to play catch up, because they were winning with exclusives. Like they were winning in a specific area, but they were losing in what they now realize is like the tortoise, like the long running race. So I honestly don't think that it was that big of a deal for them. Like they already knew that they were going to have to share the wealth with MLB The Show. So yeah, sure, pay us some money. We'll let you put it on Game Pass day one. I don't think it was, it was a big shocker, and it's a big win for Game Pass. But at this point, I think honestly, Sony was probably, for lack of a better term, like bullied into a corner to where like this was the best option on the table for them. And honestly, why wouldn't you take Microsoft money to then now make your stuff better?
And so I have some theories about that. I'm gonna put on my conspiracy hat. I like to do that on this show. That's just my sign that everything I'm about to say may be malarkey, but whatever. That's what the hat is for. We talked about this on a previous show about like we didn't go as deep as we are now, but it's for, like you said, the console wars is a thing, but it's not, because Nintendo has always been in its own lane, no matter what's going on. Yep. Like it's like, here's the first place trophy, Nintendo. And they're like, you know what? Nope, we're going to return around. We're doing something different. I don't know what's up with them. Who knows? Let them be. So Xbox and Sony have always been doing, but now, like you said, the console wars are a thing, but Xbox has finally set their sights on something else, to where what they're doing is, in direct competition with Sony, but this is almost a byproduct, not what they're driving for.
Right.
So, you said that perfectly. And so I was thinking, like you said, Sony now has to play catch up because Xbox has caught up and surpassed them. And my only thing I can think of, the only way Sony, quote unquote, wins this race, because we don't know what their eyes are set on, maybe they have something grand planned, it becomes the quality versus quantity theme. Because Xbox has the quantity. And I'm not saying the quality is bad. It's just sheer numbers of what you can play, what you can do. It's just, it's almost asinine. It's almost disgusting. Is reaching the levels of, if you do not have Game Pass, you are wasting money buying games type of situation.
You really, really are.
And so I'm really thinking, unless Sony is really about to push us into next gen and show us what games can do, and because there are certain games that I feel like if they're so good, unless Microsoft owns them, they probably would never dream of being on Game Pass. Because they want their money, they want to see that revenue. And so I'm like, so unless Sony's about to show us tech wise what gaming can do, I mean, they could be not in trouble, because PlayStation clearly isn't just gonna fold over and die. But we could be entering the Xbox era, and I think MLB The Show is a I think it was more of a statement, because it's not the fact that they have the right for it. It's the fact that it's on Game Pass. I think that's the part, and I think someone mentioned it. The whole thing's on Game Pass for free, and for Sony to have the PS4 and the PS5 edition, you have to get the Ultimate Edition, the Tony Robinson Edition, whatever it is, and that's $80-something, and it's so I gotta pay $87 to have the full game, or it can just be naturally part of my Game Pass.
Yep.
And that's a very loud and reverberating statement there.
Mm-hmm. No, it really is. And the more I think about it, you brought it up, quality versus quantity. So I feel like no matter how big Microsoft gets and Xbox gets, I don't think Sony's ever going to just be a box where you play anything on it. I feel like you're going to buy your PlayStation for those exclusives. And so I've got so many thoughts going on right now. The next thing that I wanted to mention really quick, it just kind of dawned on me. So Microsoft and Xbox, it seems like they're really about games with Game Pass. This is the whole MLB The Show thing was a kind of like a throwing the towel, here, clean yourself up because I just demolished you in the octagon type thing. You know what I mean?
What's the rush hour thing? Wipe yourself off.
Yeah. But in the same vein, I don't want to say that Xbox isn't about games, because I know that we're going to be getting a lot of first party titles. But if you look at it, I feel like the era of Xbox games themselves, and I know that term is very different now, is gone. We're going to get Halo, we're going to get Fable, we're going to get, I assume we'll probably get another Gears, Perfect Dark, Forza is never going away. But other than that, I think the golden age of Xbox-centric titles is gone, and Game Pass is just going to be the future. And so with that rich quality feeling, PlayStation is always going to have that dominated, and Nintendo too. But they're in the lane with bumpers. They're not they're not really playing the same thing.
Bro, you said they got the bumpers. It's good because, one, they're never gonna fail because they got the bumpers, and two, it's that's perfect analogy. There we go. Going off what you're saying, you made me. We're making each other realize something. In this deep conversation we're having. So let's be real. Everything Xbox is doing currently is more or less giving the people what they want without necessarily doing anything new.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is so we know all these things they've done, right? But we don't know what's to come. For example, people know Horizon 2 is going to be a bop, guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know Ratchet and Clank, bop, guaranteed. That no question. Just
Yep.
that's like saying, is Breath of the Wild 2 going to be a bop? Yes. Yes. Don't need to play the game. Bop. But all these games like Halo Infinite, whatever the hell Bethesda's going to do, whatever the hell, insert all the game companies now, although they're still ultimately unknowns. All these games could be very much bad. I'm not saying they will be. And when I say bad, people, I want to let y'all know something. Is like Halo Infinite can't be a so-so game.
No.
In the same vein, Cyberpunk could not have been a so-so game. Like
it needed to be a 10.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, Cyberpunk to me honestly is not that bad. If the game wasn't constantly crashing on me, I could have easily gave that game anywhere from an 8 to 9 because I thought the story was actually very dope. I thought the RPG elements were dope. Granted, it didn't do anything amazing, but I thought what it had was dope.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a 10, and it came with a whole list of problems.
Yep.
And, in the same sense with Halo Infinite, it can't just be like, oh yeah, that was cool. It has to be a bop. And I say that, and I mean, it may sound unfair, but I feel like all these Microsoft titles that we have yet to get, because think about it, ever since Microsoft has been killing the game, we haven't got, like you said, Xbox games are kind of dead, and we haven't got their exclusives, and we haven't even got the stuff that we, like Psychonauts 2 isn't even out, and I swear, like, bro, I've been waiting for this game for like 8 years. I don't know. And so let's say we're 2023, right? And Xbox hasn't released any bops in the games that did come out. Like, I feel like they wouldn't be in trouble, but this conversation would shift heavily against them by then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, that's why they bought Bethesda. Because like Bethesda, no matter what game it is, it's like Bethesda games always hit around that 7, 8, or 9 range. You know what I mean? Like they're a pretty safe bet. And I know that they were kind of like throwing it out there. I don't believe there were any hard statements, but I might have missed it. But there are going to be some Bethesda games that are going to be Xbox only, and some that are going to be on everything else. Like, I don't know what's happening with Starfield. Like, if that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. But I think like that's why that they're buying all these studios. Like that, you talk about Psychonauts. Like that's why they bought Double Fine, because they are shifting their focus, and their internal studios, we don't know what those games are going to be. I think Brendan Groom from Pass the Controller said it probably like one of the best ways. This Halo Infinite is either going to let Chief live, or it's going to kill Master Chief. And Master Chief is just going to be a visual piece of, hey, this is an Xbox brand. Like if Infinite is not a 10 out of 10, we probably will not get any more Halos. And 343 will be repurposed to do something else. And so, yeah, I think that's why that because we don't know if they're going to be bops. That's why that they're buying Bethesda. We'll probably see another big acquisition. Like, look, we got EA Play is on Game Pass. And there's been rumors, about like Ubisoft stuff, like being more like pulled in more to Game Pass. So it's murky waters, man. It's murky waters.
It really is, man. Because like I always tell people, the only downside I could ever see happening to Game Pass, which I'm not saying I'm wishing it on them, that because you remember Netflix was like just the king of kings, and then it just became murky waters of all the good stuff gets pulled, new stuff's up, and because competition and stuff, and I don't want that ultimately to happen. Because Microsoft is just throwing money at these things, seeing what sticks to the wall, and it's good right now. But like you said, we're in uncharted waters. Like they've killed their competition, so that's good. I mean, the fact that there's no competition and probably, let's be real, not gonna be any, it's probably gonna keep Game Pass safe until until I don't know, whatever PS6 era, and the Xbox One family. I commend PlayStation, I always do, because Nintendo they've been off the wall for a while now, and Xbox decided to join that naming convention of we're doing what we want. So I'm glad we stuck with the numbers with PlayStation. I'm glad, I don't know, maybe PlayStation 7 will be PlayStation Universe, and then we'll all be in futuristic La La Land where numbers mean nothing. We'll see, man. We'll
see.
But right now they're king. They're king. ain't gonna fight them on that. And speaking of King, what they're also doing, giving the people want. Xbox has came out and said that they want to make backlogs a thing for people. They want to always make their games accessible, which kudos to them.
Yes.
Because Nintendo kind of does it, kind of does. I don't know, because I pay for my Nintendo membership, and it's like, yeah, all the Nintendo games, the Super Nintendo games, and they add them to weird capacities. It's like,
yeah,
it's the whole library, but it's not the whole library. I don't know why you still put
right.
the whole library, but whatever. PlayStation, on the other hand, had just completely said F us as consumers. Don't know why they did that. So if you didn't hear the news, they're pulling the plug on the PS3, the PS Vita, the PSP. Is it the PS4 as well?
No, it's just 3, Vita, and PSP.
Yeah. They're pulling the plug on that. So you got to buy your games. You got to go through the cumbersome transfer process, which people say is not that bad. I'm sorry. No, in today's age, if I can't put a button, go to my PS4, go to my PS5, I got to do multiple steps. If I have to log on to anything and use an account password that I haven't used in years, it's too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Do you have any reason why they're doing this? Do you think something is coming, or they're just like, we're just not going to keep the money, to pay the money to keep these servers going? Like,
I think it's a little bit of both, because from a server's perspective, I think they've probably looked at their user base, and realized that they've seen like a shift, and they've talked about this before when they talked about backwards compatibility. Like, they're like, oh, well, if we look at sales numbers, like, people don't go back and they don't go back and play the old games and stuff. So I feel like that's a part of it. I think it's also, they want to funnel people up. Like, they don't want to have any stragglers behind. They want everybody on PS4 and PS5, which is a huge bummer, because they don't have any other handhelds right now that are announced or planned. So as far as like PSP and PS Vita go, that kind of sucks. Actually, no, that really sucks. Because I'm a collector. I still play my PSP. I still play my Vita. I'm a part of a few like collectors groups, where it's like, it is some hardcore stuff where like people will sell cases, like, and that's a big thing that's trending right now. It was already a thing that we were doing before, but now it's like, if you wanted to buy up here, that's, I know is big. So Uncharted Golden Abyss. If you try to buy that physically, it's probably going to cost you like 70, 80, like a PS5 price of a game. But if you buy it in the store, it's like 15, 20 bucks. It's super cheap. So what you're seeing is like a lot of people, they're buying up everything, but you have those who like, they wanted to have a physical collection, so they're buying cases now. So you can like buy cases from these collectors. So it still looks like you have a physical collection, but you're buying the digital version. So yeah, from like a game preservation standpoint, it really, really sucks, because stuff is super expensive and digital is not forever. Like, we've seen that time and time again. I think like one of the biggest things that we've seen recently was a lot of Disney stuff being pulled off of digital stores, because Disney in-house was trying to really build up their gaming brand, so they could just have all of their IPs in one place. Shout out to John Drake, who I'm pretty sure he's working on that. And so you saw like a lot of those games come off the shelf, so like you can't buy them anymore. Like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, you can't buy those digitally anymore. They're completely gone. They're still listed, but you can't buy them. So it spells huge doom when it comes to game preservation and just like being able just to access games. On the flip side of that, I do feel like they're gearing up for something. And I feel like I've got a good track record, because when stuff was leaked and talked about with VR and their plans, I said, listen, they're going to do it. Like, they're not done with VR. We're going to get another updated version, at least. Might not be PSVR 2, but it's going to be at least updated for PS5. And then we got the hand thong, and we know that there's stuff coming. So I feel like, with the way that they've been pushing into PS Now recently, and I don't know if you saw it today, but it was announced that the games that they're adding to the PS Now library for April, Borderlands 3, The Long Dark, and Marvel's Avengers. Like, those are big games that are not on Game Pass right now. And in case you you don't know what PS Now is and you don't know anything about it, if you're a listener or watcher, it's a very, very watered down version of PlayStation's Game Pass. Currently, if you wanted to play anything older than a PS4 game, it's streamed. So you have to have a good internet connection, which kind of sucks. But if you're getting a PS4 or a PS5 game, you download it to the console and you play it just like Game Pass. So I feel like they're looking at it as a cheaper option. I would like to believe that Sony and PlayStation are not tone deaf to the point to where they're not listening to their fan base. Like, I would assume that they care about their consumers, because they wouldn't just get rid of it like completely, right? Like, there's no way. So, there's no way. So they have to be gearing up towards a beefed up PS Now. It's $9.99. Raise it to $15. Say, look, I know you were scared. Not only are your PS2 games are on there and your PS3 games, but now Vita and PSP. There is a place to play those, and it's on PS Now. You don't have a PlayStation device? That's fine. PS Now is available on PC. You can play those games there, and that keeps people, just like with Game Pass, it keeps them in their ecosystem, and you still associate that with the PlayStation brand. Like, it feels like a no-brainer, and I feel like the infrastructure, since they obviously can control the stores, it feels like it'd be pretty easy, I would think.
You know, here's the evil truth of that. You know, at the end of the day, all these companies are ultimately ran by businessmen who only care about plus and minuses.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it makes sense. You have to keep your business afloat. At the end of the day, you do. On the other flip side of that, you know, there's also prominent people that I assume should have a voice to be like, this is for good of the gamer, our product, our quality, our brand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We can't necessarily give you a plus and minus on that, but ultimately this will ultimately pan out. And I agree with you. One would hope, pray to God, that they're not just saying, we're not going to lose no money. Oh, well, they'll get over it, right? You know, they'll be sad for But here's the thing that I've never liked about Sony's system. And before Game Pass, all the big three were, you know, guilty of this, is that I hate that it's like, here's the AAA games, the games that everyone plays, loves. You can always access them, because I'm like, chances are I have Uncharted, and if I don't, it ain't gonna be hard to get.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, yeah, cool. Last of Us 1 and 2 is on there. Also, who is fighting to play or find a copy of Last of Us Part 1 or 2? Nobody. Maybe like OG Ratchet and Clank, OG Sly Cooper. I'm like, okay, yeah, those are the games that should be on there. They're not, to my knowledge. Like OG right. Jak and Daxter, like, you know, that's what I need. And the thing I never understood, you know, minus legality issues, like, you know, Banjo-Kazooie with Nintendo, you know, the Microsoft owns Rare, you know, eliminate situations. I feel like all three companies should always forever have every first party title available on their newest system. Like, the moment Nintendo flips that switch and goes N64 games on the Switch, bro, I don't care what is coming out that week, what is about to drop. That's my whole month.
Yeah.
You add like Mario Kart 64 with online connectivity.
Game changer.
Bro, world rocked. And I don't know why game companies don't do this. Ultimately, I'm pretty sure there's some technical issue, money. It might be too expensive. But I honestly feel like going into the future, all these game companies are gonna have to get together and be like, this is something we're gonna have to do. Microsoft has already fixed that problem with Game Pass, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, you can play Viva Pinata. I don't know why, but people love that game, and
it's so good.
That's pause. Show. Why is Viva Pinata so good? I need to know. Explain this to me.
Okay. Do you like Harvest Moon?
I recently, thanks to Animal Crossing, got into the slice of life farmer genre. So maybe now I would. At the time, no, but now I might.
That's what it is. It is a mashup of that slice of life, farm life game with the collectathon of Pokemon. And I know you love Pokemon.
All right.
Because you've got clever ways that you have to collect the pinatas to be a part of your garden. You have to manage the space. You gotta take care of the land. Trust me. Knowing how much you love Pokemon, I know that you would like that collective, because it's not like you're just collecting to collect. Like, they are unique. There's just different ways to do it. Like, I remember the first time that I saw, and it's been a while since I've played it, but the first time that I saw the deer pinata, it looked so majestic with what I thought was ray tracing back in the day, with the shadows coming through, and it was sparkling. And I'm like, how do I get you? So my garden is to the place where I can see you. You are attracted to be in the area, but you're not attracted yet to visit my garden. So then I got to do stuff to make my garden look good enough for you to now enter the premises, and you're visiting. It's nice to have you. Thank you for coming. How do I get you to stay? How do I make you a resident? And then you entice them, you lure them in, you get them to be a resident of your garden, and you build them a baller home, and it just makes your plot of land look even better. It is the most chill, yet stressful, yet fulfilling game all at the same time. They did Feed the Pinata Party Animals, which is like Road Rash mixed with Mario Party, mixed with Mad Dash Racing, which that's a deep cut for those OG Xbox fans.
Oh man, all right. You know, I haven't looked, but I remember I looked once. Blinks the Time Cat is not on there, and I remember that was my game that came in my Xbox, and I honestly think it's a sleeper hit. I think people are sleeping on Blinks the Time Cat. Those time, yes, those recording mechanics, the platformers, the recording, the pause, like. That was on some next level stuff. I feel a game needs to incorporate that, because my point is, don't sleep on Blinks the Time Cat, y'all. That game was a banger.
Yep. Second one, not as good, but still really good.
Yeah. You know, and I feel like these are the games people want to see, like, in the catalog. You're not because let's be real, if it's AAA, chances are you got it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't got it, chances are you just don't want to have it.
Right. And you can't say, they can't say that nostalgia isn't king. They can't say that people don't want that style anymore. Because then why do developers moving forward keep making games in the breadth of older games? Like, what's the one that just came out that was Final Fantasy-esque? Do you know what I'm talking about? It came out on Apple Arcade and Steam.
Genshin Impact? Or not good. No,
Genshin Impact.
Apple Arcade. I think I know what you're talking about.
Josh Biddick just sent it to me. Shout out to Josh Biddick. Fantasian.
There you go. Yeah.
Fantasian. I saw a few people talking about that on Twitter. Like, Fantasian is a game that is very much harkening back to the olden days. Octopath Traveler now on Game Pass. Side note, like, that's wild. Another game that, like, pulls to an old style, so they can't say that people don't like that.
Axiom
they wouldn't
Verge
play
2
games
just
like
got
that.
Announced.
What's that?
Axiom Verge 2 just got announced.
Yes, like, people are still playing these games, so there is a need. Like, if you're looking from a business perspective, there is a demand. The demand is there, and it's high. Oh my gosh. I know that you said it's pluses and minuses and it's businessmen, but whoever needs to hear this, it is a no-brainer. Look at Game Pass, look at its success, look at the amount of people that play original Xbox games via Game Pass and games with gold. People want it. Put those games on PS Now. I feel like the Game Pass crushed, not to go back to it too much, but they crushed Luna, they crushed Stadia. There are only 2, maybe 3 people that they would have to worry about. And it's PlayStation, Nintendo, maybe Sega, depending on who you are. For me, yes, like, Sega's a definite contender. But if those platforms were to up their products to be Game Pass level, bro, like, can you imagine? Like, you talk about Netflix being king, and now you've got Hulu and Paramount Plus and Disney Plus. It would be, you've got Game Pass and PS Now, and then whatever Nintendo decides to call it or whatever they do.
Bro, Nintendo pisses me off so much, bro, because it's an abusive relationship. Honestly, that's what it is. They honestly, you know, they like beat us and tell us it's love, and we're like, yes, please give me more. Like, bro, like, they literally they ported their own games worse than they emulated, and we all gladly took it. I'm not complaining. I spent $60 on Mario 3D All Stars.
I bought it twice.
Nope, zero qualms. Like, day one, no problem. Like, I played and beat Sunshine fully for the first time and probably hated half of it. Happily did it. Happily. Do it again.
You pick me up and then you throw me down. I love Sunshine. I love Sunshine.
Okay, it's not that I don't like Sunshine. I gotta say this. Sunshine is one of those games where you grew up in the 90s, you know. Games, like, people say games are fun. Games were hard. We just didn't have a lot of them when we had too much time on our hands. Like, every time I try to replay Mega Man, I hate myself because I'm like, I don't know how I did this as a kid.
I know.
Like, I literally hate. I'm just like, bruh, I must have been. I don't know what I was on, but like, bruh, like, I'm like, I get down to like 2 or 3 Robot Masters, and I'm like, I'm done with this.
Yep. I can't even do it anymore.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they have those save states.
And so Mario Sunshine was one of those games, like one of those modern games that reminds you this is what games used to be. And let me give you a perfect example. The level in Rico Harbor with the Yoshi. You gotta use the fruit. The game never tells you different fruit moves the platforms in different directions. The game never tells you shooting fish with juice. With, like, it just literally leaves you to figure everything out from A to Z. And a lot of Mario Sunshine is like that. There's no like inventive tutorial to teach you. It's just like new level, new mechanics, new rules. We ain't telling you none of them.
Yep.
And that's why. And that's why Mario Sunshine is just like, it's a good game, but it goes back to them old school days of just like, bro, figure it out. It's a game. Get messy, break something.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I respect it, but it's just like, these kids these days have no idea how spoiled they are. You know, it's like,
no idea.
Like, bro, I was literally playing that Yoshi level, and I refused to look it up because part of me was like, you did this as a child, Odell. You did this as a child.
I looked it up.
I did too.
Are you kidding me? I didn't do it as a child. I still have all my Prima guides, my Brady guides, whatever. I used them then, I use them now. Are you kidding me?
No, I looked it up as an adult. As a child, As a child, I feel like I had to get lucky. I had to be low on juice and was like, oh, let me get this coconut. Oh, it's going up. Oh, you know, and
yeah.
I don't know. That's Mario Sunshine. Like, Mario 64 don't even do you like that.
No, it doesn't.
Like, the second anything may be confusing Mario 64, it's like, we're just going to tell you when you enter the level, like, hey, Mario, it's Chili Chill Zone. If you do this might happen. Goodbye. Or, like, you know, convenient signpost. Hey, Mario, right. You got to bring the penguin back to his mother. That's what we want you to do. Do that.
They even went back to that with Galaxy.
Yeah. But, yeah, so just Mario Sunshine was a doozy. Oh, man, the level with the lily pads and the 8 red coins. My God.
Oh, love it. I love it.
Again, not a bad game anyway, but it's just old school hard. That's why people don't like it. It's old school hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the second Nintendo flips that switch and goes, here's all the games, or Lord forbid, gives us like legit HD remixes of games. Like, bro, the second they give us like 1080p 4K Mario 64 on their new Switch that's coming out, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think out of the two companies, though, I feel like Sony's the one that'll probably do it. I don't feel like Nintendo will ever do it.
No, yeah, probably not, bro. They hate us.
They just like you said, like, they know that we're gonna buy no matter what they put out. So they're gonna put it out. It's just gonna be a crappy port. It's gonna be worse than emulation, but we're gonna pay full price for it because we're desperate.
And you know, I heard someone say this once, and honestly, when they said it, I thought that it was blasphemous. Like, get out of here, you're not a gamer. But they really wasn't lying, and they were basically saying, like, everyone loves to talk about Nintendo, you know, all the games that was on Super Nintendo, 64. I think that's it, you know, maybe GameCube. But they were saying, if you really think about it, Sony's the GOAT with the back catalog of endless classics. Once you sit down and think about it. And once I sat down and thought about it, I mean, they may be right. Like, imagine if Sony released pretty much all their games from the PS1 era, PS2, and just made them readily available. Think how many games from your childhood you can just play that you probably haven't touched since then. And the number may surprise you, listeners. The number may really surprise you. because
Yeah.
I still remember the PS2 era was a crazy time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I look at my collection right now, the most boxes I have out of any console generation is PS2 easily.
Really?
Yeah. Like
See, I came to PS2 late.
ah
I was GameCube, then Xbox, and then PS2. And so when I had my PS2, the only games that I have for it, like I might have like a few weird outliers like Rygar, but like the rest of them, I've got like the big hitters that you would expect to have on your PS2.
so if I'm looking right now, I got the Jack and Daxter series, I got the Sly Coopers, I got
Yeah.
your Ratchet and Clanks, I got my Metal Gears, I got my let's see one surprising. Uh, I got my Dragon Ball Z Budokais.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I got a let's see here. Heavy I got my DJ. Oh, that's PS3. DJ Heroes PS3. But I think got a copy of Third Strike. My point, there's just
Yeah.
like there's a lot of games that I'm not even sure if they were third party at the time. Like I don't know if I could play Budokai on the GameCube. Maybe eventually came to Xbox. I don't know, but like you know,
I don't know. I played Budokai on the PS2. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna show my age here. I got Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I'm looking at.
That's good. But I see a lot of those games they ended up bringing back to the PS3 era. Like Tide, they just re-released it on PS4, and then Budokai, I think it was just 1 and 3. They bundled together for PS3, and then of course you got your Jack collection, your Ratchet collection. So I think that is probably the only asterisk to this entire conversation as to why Sony wouldn't bring those back. It's because they'll just put them in a collection and dump them in that way.
I mean, that's true. Hey, but you know, I ain't got a problem with the collection because, I mean, if that's the way we have to upgrade the games in the sense that, like, you know, look at the Kingdom Hearts all in one.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I don't have a problem with re-releasing the collection, you know, it comes with the little bells and whistles that they might add to it. Because ultimately, I kind of like, the reason I own all the Kingdom Hearts game in some capacity, I bought all in one just because I want that game. I want to be able to play those games without any hassle free. Like I want to be able to like in my PS5, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2 again, maybe play 3, then replay 2, cry some more, you know. And you know, ultimately, I think that's why we all didn't mind buying the Mario games because we were just like, I want a hassle free way to do this. If this is the form it takes, so be it.
Yeah.
But and the way you said, I kind of wish they do that. I think you may be on something like you said. Digital isn't forever, so if the way to preserve these games is buying $60 collections every 2 to 3 years, I'm here for it. That may not be a popular opinion, but
I mean that I ended up. I wish I hadn't now, but like I've got the Jack collection. I've got the Sly collection. I remember when I bought those. I left my PS2 copies in my parents when I moved out. I mean, like I didn't feel the need to bring them because I'm like, well, I've got the PS3 versions and they play better. Now I'm as a well-informed adult and a collector, I want to go back and grab those before they just get destroyed or like put in a yard sale. Yeah, totally. I playing those in a collection, I think is probably the best way anyways. Like have them on your shelf and that's great. Maybe play them to feel nostalgic, but put them in a collection to where there's more save states. Maybe you fix the camera and it's just a little bit more crisp. You know what I mean? It's not sluggish and dull.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, yeah, you're right. You know, sometimes I like whipping out the Game Boy Color, popping in my copy of Yellow or what have you. And it's like, yeah, man. But, you know, I got to play in a well-lit room during the day. Make sure I got some AA batteries that actually work. That's the real kicker nowadays. Like I know there's around, but they're always like, let's move about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's like
quick aside.
Yeah.
I saw on TikTok this guy modded a Game Boy Advance to where you can play all of your Game Boy Advance games. It's basically kind of like a little mini Raspberry Pi, but it's a backlit regular Game Boy Advance. I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. I didn't like the clamshell because I got big hands, so that rectangular one was my favorite one. So there's always that option.
Yeah. And also with the was it not the Game Boy Pocket, the what's the new fancy Game Boy that I couldn't get because I didn't have enough money at the time to reserve one that lets you play all your Game Boy games.
It wasn't the micro, was it?
No, it's not an actual Nintendo thing.
I know what you're talking about. The analog pocket, something
analog
like that.
pocket. There we go.
Yep.
I don't know how they got legally was able to do that, but maybe if we can get like a whatever and it plays PlayStation games, PS2, it just plays the
yeah.
Like I'll be cool with that too, because it's like. Cause like for my PS2 doesn't it dies, like it'll stay on for like maybe an hour and then it just it cuts out. My Game Boys are starting to need batteries replaced, parts replaced, things of that nature. So if some company or even PlayStation themselves invests into like the PS5s, but here's this, if you really want it, here's this machine that will play all PlayStation games prior.
Yeah.
And it has all the modern hookups and stuff, and like I really think there may be a market for something like that.
Oh,
because
definitely.
you kind of kill two birds with one stone with that.
Or make a classic that's actually good.
Or that, bro, when they announced that games, it was like, cool, I want to play like 2 of these. Not getting that pass.
And then when it dropped to $20, I'm like, okay, now I'll pick it up. 100? No way.
And then the Sega Genesis Classic, I was like, bruh, that's cute, but let's be real. Like, I only want these Sonic games. I own them all. Thank you, Sonic Mega Collection. Think of beauty.
Listen, I'm glad you brought it up. Nobody talks about that Sega. That's probably I've got the Nintendo ones, the NES and the SNES, but that Sega one takes me back. I was a big Sega kid.
Oh no problem. The Genesis was actually my first gaming console.
Okay.
So it has a special place in my heart. Sonic 2 was my very first game. Like, I had cousins' houses, my uncle's house, but that was the first one that was like, this is yours in your room.
Yeah.
So, I still got my Sonic 3 cartridge that I put my Sonic and Knuckles cartridge that I put Sonic 3 in, like a cool kid.
Yeah.
That's one of those things, like, it could be worth like $1 billion, and I'll be like, nah. Nah. But you know what? I want to thank you for joining me. Unfortunately, that's probably all the time we have today.
Yeah.
Asa, you're a godsend. And real quick, tell the people where they can find you, keep up with you, chat with you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So you can find me personally at @GreenRiver07 on Twitter. But if you could follow Borderline Entertainment, like I said, doing a lot of content there. So on youtube.com/Borderline Entertainment, twitch.tv/Borderline Entertainment, or just on any social media platforms. Just stay connected. We got a good community that's building there, and there's more content coming out regularly. So I appreciate it.
That's what's up. Y'all do that because, as I love to say on this, like, share, and subscribing is free 99. It don't cost you nothing to do that. It don't. Yes. And it can support things like you would not believe. But, in case, you want to, throw some monetary gain our way, follow us at Full Circle Productions on Patreon. You can donate there, subscribe, do whatever you want. Do not care. But I want to thank you to Gabriel Garcia, Rachel Coleman, Baked Rice, Ryan Frazier for, helping the growth of me, the channel, everything out. And as always, you can follow me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media, no matter what it is. And at Twitch at Hair23, because now I am streaming weekly. I can finally tell you to do that because I'm doing it. Before I was like, I'm not going to do it because you won't see me up there. But now we're good. We're solid. So Hair23, that's HARE, by the way. Not like the hair on your head, like the animal. But as always, thank you for joining me. Thank y'all for listening. Have a great week and be blessed, everybody.